Wall Street Journal did a story on the fact that he's got around $400 million of cash sitting there, is what he has right now. Net worth is around $3 billion, right? $400 million of cash, 355. They're so close to wanting to deplete him. And this Letitia James person, you know what she wants to do?
The bond situation?
But do you know what she wants?
She wants to seize his assets.
She wants to seize his assets.
Yeah.
She wants to yellow tape, red tape around the buildings and saying, hey, these assets have been seized by they want to seize, they want that visual because he can't post bond for 464 right now in a New York civil case. And they're speculating that Trump's going around asking for money from different people. They're saying the meeting with Musk was about that. And there's a lot of Republicans that are saying, why don't some of these billionaire Republicans come out and give the money? But the reality of it is the dark strategy of cornering him with things like this, with a specific amount of money to hurt him so they can seize his assets, to embarrass him. Guys, it's going to be so nasty the next 6 months. It's going to be so nasty the next 6, 7, 8 months on what they're going to do. But all of this stuff comes together. They fear this guy being in the White House. I don't know why. They fear this guy being in the White House.
There's no doubt. When I give sort of the devil's advocate thing, I'm so completely disenfranchised with the Democratic Party as it stands. I'm registered independent. I've never voted for Trump, but there's a lot of people like me that are like, yeah, I'm not a fan of Trump's bluster and his rhetoric, but I just can't condone what the Democratic Party stands for at this point. But there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of, I actually empathize with a lot of the people on the right that understand that there is some sort of, whether you want to call it a witch hunt, whether you want to call it election interference, this guy was $500 million. Right. And Letitia James, who campaigned on the fact that she wants to prosecute Trump, she's out there basically saying that she's going to try to seize his assets. So this 464, if you just want to go down the rabbit hole of Trump's money, FTM, follow the money, Trump's worth what? Give or take about $3 billion. Is that fair? Is that a fair number? Of that, there's
according to Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a credible source.
Exactly. I agree with you.
So of that, he has they said about $500 million of cash, give or take 400 to 500 million of cash. Fair number. So what they're basically saying is he owes 355 from the fraudulent asset inflation valuation case. That there's $100 million of interest that he owes on top of that. Plus you have the E. Jean Carroll that was like what, $92 million. So the guy owes $500 million. So what are his options? Because by the way, the interest is gaining $100,000 a day.
Yeah.
Is that insane? So how's he going to pay it? So number one, I think a judge rejected the $100 million bond. So how's he going to pay this off? Because is he going to deplete all his cash and pay it off? You're not going to do that. Are you going to borrow against your assets? He has $2.5 billion worth of real estate assets to borrow against. What do you get, a LOC, a line of credit against that? What are you going to start borrowing money from big time friends? Maybe that's why he's meeting with Elon. Or he's going to have to do a fire sale of his real estate. Either way, if you just look at it unbiased, they are coming after Trump and they want him to pay a lot of freaking money.
The end of democracy? No, you're seeing it live. Look exactly what they're doing right now. What democracy? From cheating in the elections to taking out an opponent to ruining the country. I mean, what do you mean the end? It's ending in front of your face. And the people are cool with this, like, well, what are we even talking about? What are we even talking about?
Look, you can arm yourself and you can.
Oh, I am.
You and I,
2A
brother.
Mm-hmm.
You can arm yourself and you can protect your home, or you can rob a convenience store. You can use a gun in both ways. One is very illegal, one is wrong, and the other is exercising your right under the Constitution to protect your family. This is judicial activism that they're attempting to use the letter of the law to rob a convenience store. They're basically using laws to basically commit crime in broad daylight. When you deny bail to someone, you deny bail because you think they're a flight risk. For instance, you have somebody in Miami is arrested because they were caught with 100 pounds of cocaine, like last year around Christmas, the guys on the boat. Why did they deny bail? Because they thought they were going to get their buddies to fly them to Colombia and escape justice. Trump is not a flight risk. He actually wants to stay here and be president. I think, let me check. Nope, he's pretty clear about that. He's not going anywhere. So, and he's posted a bond. So he has had $100 million to post sort of bail on this. The other thing is, these things get suspended under appeal. Here's what happens. They say, hey, look, if you lose the appeal, you are going to have to pay interest on your judgment. Do you understand that, Vinny?
Yes.
You and your attorney say yes.
Yep.
Okay, well, then we're going to suspend the payment while we go to appeal because that's part of, here's a phrase, due process. So what I worry about is not the threat to democracy. I worry about the threat to due process. And when you read about weaponizing the judicial system, to me, that is not an inflammatory phrase. That is an appropriate description of what they're trying to do. They're using the judicial system to rob the convenience store. And that's what is appalling to me here. He's posted the bond. Let's go to appeal and let's see if this goes. And you know what scares him about appeal? What scares him about appeal is November 5th. The election's over. He's elected. They're worried about everything gets wiped off at that point. But that's the opportunity to correct the judicial activism. This is what is horrifying to me, is that he's got the bond. And under appeal, these things get suspended. And he's not a flight risk. So they're using all the things that they would use against a drug lord against him, where they're weaponizing the justice system in plain daylight.
Tom, let's stay on that topic. So what are reasons why democracies fail?
Well, there's the crumbling. Rome crumbled when they failed to honor and respect the Roman people and stopped serving the people, and the Caesars became corrupt, and the whole thing fell. And that's really, if you look, I just summarized the fall of the Roman Empire. They failed to serve the country and its people, became corrupt unto themselves, and ultimately they killed one of each other, Julius Caesar. They even got together, we're all corrupt and you're the most corrupt. Here you go, guy. And they killed one of their own. And ultimately, the whole thing fell because the people didn't have confidence in government. Even the guys that led didn't have confidence. And guess what? Foreign enemies came in and filled that up, and that was it.
You read? So this is on the History Channel. I remember doing this. We didn't talk about it one podcast. Invasion by barbarian tribes, economic troubles, and over-reliance on slave labor, the rise of Eastern Empire, overexpansion and military overspending. I don't even sounds familiar. Government corruption and political instability. Weird, sounds like us. The arrival of the Huns and the migration of barbarian tribes. Weird. That's so weird. What's the other one? Christianity and the loss of traditional values, weakening of the Roman legions. A lot of that sounds like what's happening here right now. Is that crazy? Those are the 8 reasons that Rome fell, and 6 out of 8 of those are happening right now in the United States.
Yeah, and we talked about the bases that we have all over the world. How many 800 bases, and we're trying to basically, I'm not in the isolationist camp, and I'm certainly not in the interventionist camp and getting involved in every single foreign war out there. There needs to be a balance out there. Dave Smith and Candace Owens had a great conversation about stop trying to turn the American empire into an actual worldwide empire and just focus on it being an actual republic. This is what happened to Rome. They tried to expand. They tried to intervene in every single war. And if you try to win every single war, you can't win the war at home. And basically you crumble within. Then you get into the lack of confidence that a lot of people think that the elections are stolen, everything like that. Whether that's true or not, they believe it. So there's a lot of people. What's the stat out there? That's basically 50% of people, Americans can't tell the difference between facts and opinions. Okay? Nearly half of respondents, 46%, struggle to differentiate between facts and opinions. People don't know what the hell's going on here at this point. So at this point, the information age is officially over, meaning that we have information at our fingertips, whether you call it Google, whether you call it AI, whatever it is. We are now officially in the era of confirmation and validation. What the hell is true? What the hell is not true? So that's a major problem in our democracy at this point, is facts and opinions differentiate.
Tom, go ahead.
Well, and you look at France, the French Revolution, the monarchy, treated the people like crap, and it ultimately led to a strong leader in Napoleon rising out of that. You go from the storming of and help me out on history. You go from the storming of the Bastille to the rise of Napoleon, and basically the execution of the king, because the king was treating the people like crap, ignoring things. And so a great country and a great societies fail usually when the government turns its back on the people and becomes corrupt. You could probably put that as the headline, Pat, and all the things about Rome. And then barbarians come in, your army becomes weak, your vision is gone.
How much corruption do we have with our government?
Oh
right
my
now?
God! It's the least trusted in the history of America.
Rob,
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party.
Tulsi Gabbard says she is no longer a Democrat. A potential Tulsi Gabbard VP.
Where we are being told that we just have to comply and go along with whatever they say.
American people are smarter than this. However, we must remain vigilant to recognize their propaganda for what it is, pure lie.
Unfortunately, we live in a time where free speech is under attack. Whatever they say goes, and we have to just follow.
And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology. Taking on Kamala Harris on a debate stage before, I would look forward to doing that again.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.